Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name's Andrea and I love the Pilates Method of Exercise. If you're new here, welcome. My channel is all about very nerdy strategies for working on the Pilates Method of Exercise, all the exercises in the classical traditional system. And so if you're interested in dissecting the powerhouse and how to do the classical Pilates exercises, you have come to the right place. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Today I have a short tutorial, and it's actually a tutorial requested by a subscriber, and he emailed me several questions on the same exercise, so I just want to make sure I answer it properly. So this is a question from Hubertus Pilates. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. He's a lovely man in South Africa that emails me from time to time, and sometimes just to say hello and tell me what's going on in his corner of the world, and sometimes with questions. And so thank you for your patience, Jonas, because it took me a little while to get to your questions, but I thought this was a really good question that I feel like we all need to hear over and over again. And also, your question is on an exercise and something we do over and over and over again in the Pilates method. So I sort of wanted to hit it a few different ways. Okay, so now that your curiosity is piqued, let me tell you about the questions. So he has a question regarding tendon stretch, which is the fourth exercise of the footwork on the reformer. So before I answer his questions, let me just show you the exercise we're going to talk about. I usually do footwork on 3 springs. So this is the fourth in the series. So you've done your first position where your heels are together and your balls of your feet are on the bar. And then you go to the arch, which is just under the ball of the foot, that part of the arch. Then you place both heels onto the bar. And then finally, we have our tendon stretch, which brings us back to a similar position as the first one that you did, where your balls of your feet are on the bar and the heels are together. And this one is a little bit different than the others. So this one, the legs stay straight. And with control, the heels and the back of you lower. And then your center is lifting everything up. And so this is the action. And you know, because we all have different sort of scenarios, let's say, with regard to our feet, our ankles, our legs, our center, our butt, there's always a lot of things that might happen in even that exercise. So, meanwhile, back to our questions. So, the first question is, are your feet in the same position as footwork number 1, or in a narrower Pilates V? So this is a really good question. And for everyone, this foot position is a bit individual. And I would ask you, actually, let me read 2 more questions because they're sort of all about the same thing, and then I can talk about all of it at once. So, first question is, are your feet in the same position as footwork number 1 or in a narrower Pilates V? The second question is, when I lower my heels, the inside of my ankles, at the medial malleoli, very nice, thank you for that term, touch, is that allowed? And then the third question is, should your heels stay connected all the time? Stay connected the whole time? Okay. And I guess this is the fourth question too. When you lower your heels, you lift the abdomen, and when you lift your heels, the abdomen stays lifted. So that's all sort of talking about the same action and what should be going on during that action. So I'm going to explain kind of what goes on in my mind as I do this exercise. And Jonas, just so you know, my ankles, they touched each other for a very long time. They may still even touch a little bit, but I'll talk about why that is and what you can do to work on it as well. Okay, maybe that's why I've never liked footwork, because everyone was all about that for a long time, that they should not touch, they should not touch. And not that it's a bad thing, but I'll just explain what's going on and why they want to touch each other, and then what you can do to help strengthen it so that that over time can not happen, perhaps. Okay, so here we go. And I thought I would look at a few different versions of tendon stretch. I mean, we do this exercise as various parts of other exercises, and I've chosen 3 instances that we do it where it's nearly the same, but your relationship to gravity and your position is somewhat different. There are other exercises that are a bit different exercise altogether that are also called tendon stretch, but I'm not going to look at that exercise today. So the exercises I'm going to look at are normal lying down footwork tendon stretch, sitting up stomach massage because you do the tendon stretch action over and over again, and also the standing tendon stretch, which can be done on the 2x4, which I have right here, because sometimes lifting up when it's actually up is helpful instead of trying to lift up when you're in a horizontal position. So that's why we have a little seated one and also a standing one. Okay, let's talk a little bit more in detail. Okay, so for myself, I'm not someone that goes very, very wide in that first position, although I am learning a little bit of a nuance that it's hard for me to articulate right now about why that would be wide. So stay tuned, I'll learn a little bit more about that. Depending on the angle of how your balls of your feet are, whether this is like a straight line here with toes or a diagonal line with toes, the main event is that you want to feel like the ball of each of your toes is actually on the bar. And so for myself, if I go too wide in my V, my little toes, I got like 6 toes on the bar instead of 10. And so I tend to err a little bit more on having the foot a little higher up so that I can kind of stretch the top of my foot as my heels go lower. Let me do the exercise and show you that. So that the little toes are on the bar and I can kind of grip the bar a little bit. And actually that was a little bit too far over the bar. Yeah, so you want to feel like your littlest toes have purchase on the bar. And I would also say if you're someone who the V position, heels together, toes apart, does not jive with the structural way your legs are, if you're someone who works better in parallel because there's a little bit of a knock-kneedness, or you just feel greater connection in parallel, that is also a way you can do this exercise. And I have a little bit of strong side, weaker side, so sometimes I like to do it in parallel as well. And so that's when you are in the V, that's when a lot of things can come into play. So if the heels go down and the ankle bones touch, so mine touch still a little bit. I'm just looking. Yeah, mine touch right at the bottom of it. And usually the ankle bones touch if the foot is falling inward, or if you have a foot where there's not a lot of arch or a little bit of weakness in one side, or just weakness in that kind of lifting up in this area, the arch can fall a little bit, and that's generally when the ankle bones want to touch. It may be that the whole leg is rolling in, and you've probably seen that if you're a teacher and you're teaching this exercise. If people do not keep their centers lifted, usually the legs roll inward and the ankle bones touch. So just by increasing your lift upward of your powerhouse, you can prevent that from happening a little bit. And I'll sort of show you what that looks like. So sometimes if you go out and you just don't lift at all, and sometimes the whole leg can roll in. I'm not doing a good job of cheating. And so keeping that lift up, as he said, the abdomen should be lifting even when the abdomen stays lifted when the heels go down and up. Yes, ideally, the powerhouse is lifted from the moment you get on the reformer until the moment your workout is over. So it's constantly trying to stay engaged and lifted. And going down in space, even when you're horizontal, is a challenge to the lifting of the powerhouse. So we're going to look at that in a seated version and also a standing version. Let me just make sure I haven't neglected anything else to talk about. Oh, so should your heels stay connected the whole time? Sometimes if the ankle bones touch, the heels come apart. And so you could restrict your range of motion so that when the heels need to come apart, maybe that's as far as you go and you lift back up again. Maybe. But it kind of depends on what's happening in other places. So I'm going to talk about my sort of inside monologue when I'm doing this exercise myself. And then I'll really look at the stomach massage sitting with the tendon stretch and the standing version. Okay, I think I need to put my hair away. So for the lying down tendon stretch, you're really nice and compressed in your Footwork series by the shoulder rests, which communicate with the top of the back on the back of you, and with the foot bar. So the top of you is communicating, actually standing all the way down on the foot bar, and then that lift of your powerhouse is what's lifting you against the shoulder rests. So the more you can kind of maximize that kind of reaching out into that compression, that's going to help you to use the reformer to help you and support you and get more out of the exercise. Sorry, that's a little bit sometimes hard to articulate, a feeling that you feel in your body. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to lift my powerhouse already so that that's really what is taking me out there a little bit. And now from way up here on my back, I'm going to push the heels down, and I'm going to try to feel like my butt and my stomach and my back are lifting up in the opposite direction. And now I'm going to keep feeling like I'm getting pressed down, so the back is still going down, and this is going to pull me up by pushing on the bar. So I'm going to lift as I lower, and then I'm going to keep lowering even though I'm going to lift, and that's going to take me up again. I'm going to do one more. And if that's kind of not very tangible to feel like you can lift as you're lowering and kind of feel that in your body, let's look at the second of the stomach massage so that you're in more of a similar position, meaning that your back is straight, or like when you're lying down. You could also work this one on the first one where your hands are here as well. Okay, and then I'm going to lift up. And now here you have your lift, which is actually vertical to help you lifting up. So I would give you I would say to give this one a try, because you can also monitor what's going on in your feet a little bit easier. Yes, my ankles want to touch just the very, very base of the range of motion. So you could try that there as well to get that lift. And then do try the 2x4 tendon stretch as well. So what you'll do there, this one I actually like to do in parallel, but you could certainly do it with your heels together and your toes apart. And you might get something to help you balance. I didn't want to take the time. Let's see if I need it. Woo! Okay, so you're going to lift up. And as you lift upward, the back of you is going to reach down, 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 down. And then that's going to continue to reach down as you lift back up again. And actually, I'm going to do a little bit in parallel. This is kind of the way I usually do it. So I feel like really successful in the lifting the more I do it standing. Because I can really imagine I'm standing in the back of me and I'm keeping down even though I'm lifting back up as I press on the balls with my feet. And really lift from the base of your bottom and your waistline and your stomach. So I encourage you to give those two versions of the tendon stretch a try. See what you think. If you have further questions or want me to clarify anything I did or did not mention in this video, please leave me a comment below. I'm happy to clarify. Thank you so much for watching. Giannis, thank you so much for your question. I just want to add one more thing. I mentioned that sometimes when the ankle bones do touch, it's because the arch has fallen or there's a weakness maybe in one side or the other. And I just wanted to talk about ways that you can work on finding an arch in your foot and finding more lift in that whole kind of low inner powerhouse kind of line in the front. And when I was an apprentice, I have one arch that likes to fall, and they actually both are a little bit, need a little bit of lift, I'm finding out. But my first sort of days as an apprentice, they had me stand and they talked about how to lift up the arch, and they kept saying, you know, use your muscles, lift up the arch. And I really, at that time, could not figure out how to lift the arch of my foot to save my life. So I found some other things, and I understand now what they were going for, but I have a lot more Pilates in my body currently, so I have a lot more hope of lifting an arch if I want to. But we have some wonderful small apparatus that are perfect and really do create strength and a nice arch in the foot. So the Foot Corrector is one of them, and don't be afraid of the name, it's really going to correct your foot. I use this very regularly, and like anything, I go through waves where I practice it very diligently, and then I forget about it for a while. But I have to say, when I practice it diligently, I literally notice after doing it for a week every day, or a little chunk of time every day working the exercises, I literally notice just walking around outside in my shoes that I feel like oh my gosh, my foot has an arch. So I feel like it really does correct the foot. So that was a really, I was like, hey, this stuff really works. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a couple exercises that you can do on the Foot Corrector, and also our 2x4. We did the standing tendon stretch, but then there's also another little combination of exercises you can do here. And I'm just going to do a little bit now, but I will link a whole Foot Corrector workout video in the info box below. And it's really only about 5 or 6 exercises, and I'm just going to do a couple of them right now. So if you were to use the Foot Corrector, I would suggest standing in front of a mirror so that you can see your feet in the mirror, so you don't have to keep looking down at them here. It'll just help you work on your posture, which is also something we're doing at the Foot Corrector. So the first position has your heel on the base of it and kind of right at the front of the arch, trying to lift up and bring the front of the foot onto the corrector. And the spring is really heavy, so you're going to try to lift yourself and help, as a help to pushing the pedal down a little bit and then up. So that lift of your center and this apparatus, I feel like, are making magic in the arch of your foot. So that is one of them. I'm just going to do it on the other side. And you're trying not to lean on the pedal with your body weight. And then you're going to get the arch from the other side of the foot as well. And this exercise I find the most satisfying. So now you're kind of lifting up the back of the arch and onto the heel. And so you can lift yourself and feel like you can kind of squish the back down into the pedal. Not squish, but the pedal is squishing, not your back. I'm just going to do it on the other side. So I'm kind of lifting away from that heavy spring, and I feel like as I get my lift, it engages my bottom and helps the pedal go down a little bit. And then you can, after those two, we're going to kind of do a little massage combination of those two. And you can, it's nicer if you have socks on. I'm just going to use my shirt as like a little piece of cloth to get some slidiness. So, I don't know if this is the best use of this shirt, but anyway, so basically you're going to go from the first position, you're going to press the pedal down, you're going to slide to massage the foot over to the second position. And you'll lift your heel and you'll squish it down again and then slide it back over. Yeah, this is really not the best. Let's try that again. I'm just going to put that over there, and I'm just going to get a towel really quickly. Yeah, because that was like a little too many layers of cloth. Okay. So your goal is that as you keep the pedal a little bit down, that you continue to hold it down there as you massage the bottom of your foot. And this one, you know, you're trying to stand up tall, but if you really just want to like indulge in massaging out any sticky spots in the bottom of your foot, or it's also a really big calf stretch, you can kind of just, you know, enjoy. And as you do it with regularity, all the nuances and little other things you can be doing and working it more efficiently will kind of surface. Ooh, and evidently I don't do it very well on this side. Oh yeah, so this feels really, really nice. And it's kind of just reinforcing that kind of stretch of the arch from both ends of it up and over the hump of the corrector. Oh, and I try not to indulge in the thigh stretch, in the calf stretch too much, but it is delicious. So let's just take a brief look. I feel like the foot corrector is a great way to work on getting strength and lifting the arches, but then also at the 2x4. So we did the version where you are just coming down in the tendon stretch and then continuing to feel like you're going down and lifting yourself back up. And so there's also a little combination you can do here. Let's see if I can keep my balance. So you'll stay lifted with your heels and you'll bend your knees. You'll keep your knees bent and you'll stretch the heel down. You'll straighten your legs with the heels down, and then you'll do what you did before in the tendon stretch. So I'm going to do 3 in this direction. So the heels up, bend the knees stay bent, the heels go down. I can tell I haven't done this in a while. The heels stay down, the legs straighten, and then you lift back up again. And at each juncture, your bottom is going up, even though you're going down. Your bottom is going up, even though you're going down. Now everything's going up for a moment, and then another moment. So now we're going to reverse. So you'll go down with your heels with straight legs. The heel will stay down as you bend your knees. The lift is in there as you lift your heels with bent legs, and then you're going to lift away to straight legs. And then go down but stay lifting. Go down but stay lifting. Lift your heels. Stretch your legs. We're going to do it one more time. Woo! That's quite a little workout. So those are just a couple ways that you can work toward having that lifting and more strength in your arches. So I just wanted to add that because that's a nice component of working on your tendon stretch. Okay, that was just a little extra. Bye! And if you'd like to see more videos like this, do give this video a thumbs up. That helps to push the algorithm and help it find my videos and send it to more of my subscribers. So thank you for that. And do subscribe. You can click the red button. The bell icon tells you that anytime I publish new videos, which is Fridays and Tuesdays. Fridays there'll be a workout. Tuesdays there'll be a sort of a chatty video or a tutorial or something less workout oriented, let's say. And if you'd like to see exclusively workouts, if that's something you're interested in, do leave me a comment below. I'd love to know the content that you like the most. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much, Janice, for your question, and I'll see you later.